Hi, I'm Heidi Fleming, and I was reflecting on my journal, and this one is called The Day. The day I went from married to only memories. The day I realized the pictures that I was taking, you would not be here to reminisce with me. The day doctors asked us to consider comfort care. The day we heard it's back, and I watched the joy leave your face. The day you took my hand and said, you know, when I say I'm going home, that I'm going home. The day I had to begin planning the event that I didn't want to attend. The day that our Lord whispered in my ear, you will be together again, even better than before. Each day I cling to this hope. One day, the day. And as I go through this journey, I realize that one of my triggers is days and dates. And it's interesting how my mind can remember so vividly specific dates from the first diagnosis in 2017 all the way through Dennis's celebration of life, which was November 6th. I have like flashbacks that I can see him standing beside me, telling me something is wrong, or the way his eyes looked when we learned it was back. It's part of the journey. I understand that. And it's at times it's unbearable. It's unbearable pain that you have to bear. And for each of us, we just try to figure out how to do that. One of the ways that I do is I listen to other people's stories, their journey, and they could be different than my journey. I've listened to young widows who were in their 30s whose husbands committed suicide. And I've listened to ladies who were in their 80s who lost their husband. And their stories help me understand a little bit about this journey. It's not the same, but it helps me to hear them speak about it. And I also do a lot of reading on grief, different books that I've read. Some are by social workers, counselors writing books, and others are by widows who have had experience on this journey themselves. So it just depends for myself how I reach out for my healing. But like I said, the dates are definitely triggers for me. And I guess I've learned that this is certainly a very painful journey. And some days are more painful than others. In the early grief, which I would say would be 6 months or less, it was unbearable. I mean, it was really hard to get through that time. And then now I'm almost at a year. I still have times that are very difficult, but then I also have times that are tolerable. And so the hole in my heart will never go back to normal. That's impossible to do because Dennis was my normal and now I'm living life without him. So I'll never go back there. That's a chapter that I had and I will never have again. When I try to explain this pain to others who haven't been through it, it's really hard for them to understand, just as it was for me to understand before I was actually in this situation. And I remember talking with my dad, and he shared two things that I remember vividly happened between my dad and I when my mom passed. Is he said, I am so happy your mother didn't have to experience this pain, this sadness. And then during another conversation, he said, I feel really bad that I didn't understand what my mother went through when she lost my dad. And I remember talking with him and trying to cheerlead him to happiness because I tend to be a pretty positive person. And that's just kind of what I did. I would share hopeful stories with him. And in my heart, I thought I was doing the right thing. But then as I went through this journey, I realized you can't cheerlead somebody into happiness when you're this broken, when you're this sad, when the hole in your heart is so big. It really is a long healing process that people have to take. And part of that process is talking about how much it hurts. And I've mentioned this before. I feel like in our society, we haven't been real honest with how much it hurts. I'm going to show you a picture. And I saw this on Facebook. I think it was on Facebook. And when I saw this picture, it described for me how it feels to go through what I'm going through. And if you haven't been through this, it may not touch your heart the way it did mine. It may not speak to you. If you have been through this, it may speak to you. So I'm just going to share this real quick. This right here, this picture says 1,000 words. And if you can relate, then we have an unspoken bond. And this is, when I saw it, I was like, that's it. Because I can relate. And it is a very difficult journey. And that right there was the visual that I can say, that's it. That's a visual of how broken I feel inside. Even though when you look at me or you see me out and about, or if you see me smile, that's what's on the inside of me. So I hope that somehow listening to this for yourself, if you're going through this, I'm very sorry. But I hope that this helps you understand that what you're going through is really difficult. It's really difficult. And I hope this helps.